tell you a little bit about ourselves for our inaugural broadcast here, and just let you know a little bit about who we are, where we're coming from, and that kind of thing, so you might have some idea what to expect, supposedly. So I'm Doc.
And I'm LoBo.
And good, we're glad to have you joining us here tonight. And we're just going to let you know that we are not professional spokesmen, which will be obvious as we go along, I'm sure. But we're not being paid in any way for this. We have no affiliation with really either party officially, any political party or political organization, anything like that. We are just middle class working men. We both experience what it's like to be make mortgage payments, house payments, rent checks, whatever you will. We know exactly what it's like to have to try to stretch paychecks. We've both been between jobs over the last few years, a time or two. We've are either being laid off or switching jobs for one reason or another. So we know what it's like to live with a budget and to have some kind of financial responsibility. We both,
no kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, responsibility. Yeah, it gets pretty heavy sometimes.
I don't like that word.
Yeah, I don't either. But geez, you know.
Hey, you know what? Just out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
Everything's not really bigger in Texas. Did you know that?
It was bigger when I was there.
Oh, really?
It was, yeah.
When I visited, it's just the people were just smaller.
Yeah, but
it's like it just looks bigger. Perspective is reality.
But the guts are bigger.
Well, anyway, speaking of which, perspective being reality is like everything. Life is how you take it, and your perspective is your reality.
Sure.
And like Doc was saying, we've both been there. I've been unemployed. He's been unemployed. We've stretching paychecks, and we're just average guys. We're and we're here to just, kind of share our thoughts and try to relate with everybody out there and just kind of.
There's really just so much junk being thrown around on both sides of the aisle, and we're just kind of we're trying to give our opinion so people can maybe hear what we feel. I mean, because we honestly don't feel that there's being a whole lot of truth spread around by the mainstream media, or even those who claim to not to be in the mainstream media. There just seems to be this whole campaign of lies, of it's all about appearance. It's not about, there's no real substance to anything that's reported anymore. And there's a lot of important things that don't go reported by anybody. And we feel like there's a lot of these things that really need to be addressed, really need to be aired out. And look at the ramifications of some of this stuff that's just treated like it's like there's no importance to it. And the whole time they're worrying about maybe the turn of phrase of one candidate, of this candidate or that, or what this representative said or anything like this, while there's really serious threats to our freedom going on in this country in a way that really most of us haven't seen in our adult lives. And I think it's important for us to really wake up and see that this type of thing is going on, like I said, on both sides of the aisle. Now, I'll be honest with you. You're going to find that LoBo and I generally come down a lot on the right-hand side of things, so to speak. But you're also going to find there's times when we're going to attack that side too, because we're going to call a lie, no matter whose mouth it comes out of.
That's right.
So some of the things we may say will probably make just about anybody out there uncomfortable at some time or another. So we're just going to let it fly and let the chips fall where they may. And we're not out to offend anybody. We're not out to make you mad. We're not out to be inflammatory. There's enough people on the airwaves who are making their living by that very thing right now. We're just wanting to shed a little light, a little truth, and give a little bit of perspective coming from the actual middle class, the working people of this country.
Yeah, and remember, this is our opinions. This is not. We don't base anything on fact. We try to fact check everything that we do. But this is our opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. You may not agree with it, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. And you may absolutely agree with everything we say, and that's great. And we hope you do. But we're not trying to push anything on anybody. We are. Well, I'll go ahead and say it. Doc and I both are Christians.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we believe in one true God. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people that don't agree with that. That's fine. If you don't want to agree with it, that's fine.
Absolutely.
We're not here to push it on you.
Beauty of the First Amendment. We don't have to. We're not here to try to shove our beliefs down your throat. We are going to share our beliefs with you about a lot of things. And you're going to find a lot of things that we agree with don't line up with a lot of what you would figure the stereotypical Christian, whatever that is, would be. But again, like Lobo was just saying, we do our best to fact check everything that we say, but I'm sure there will be times when we mix things up or mishear things or things are misrepresented completely by accident. So don't kill us in the comments section about how that was not true. I'll fact check. Yeah, you if you search hard enough, I guarantee you'll probably find a mistake or two here or there. But we're not trying. Again, don't take what we say as to use a Christian terminology as the gospel. We're giving you opinion, and we are doing our best to check the facts as best we can. And we have the same access to things that everybody does, and that is, the internet, television, various types of social media and that sort of thing. So a lot of this thing is going to come third and fourth hand. We try to track it back as far as we can, but unfortunately, in this climate today we have of double speak and lies and political correctness and spin and all these other things, it's just really difficult to get any kind of real truth.
It is. It really is. And we're going to take so many different routes when we do this because we don't have a piece of paper. We don't have a guide that we're going by. We're going by what's on our hearts at the time. We are just sharing what is bothering us the most. And that's kind of what this is. It's kind of a time for us to let off some steam, to just kind of talk things out. And
just kind of vent and explore, basically.
Yes, and rant. Well, I'm going to tell you, we are going to rant.
There will be rant.
Doc is the master ranter. He is here for your ranting pleasure. So just hang on. Or displeasure. Yeah, you never know what it's going to be. And you never know what we're going to say. And that's the beauty about going at this off the cuff. We try not to, we're recording this digitally. We're not going to try to edit anything we say unless it's just completely bad or just completely stupid. And I've been known to do that, just to say things that are crazy.
Come on.
But it's just everybody has things that they say and they kind of regret. And, the beauty of recording is I can delete that. Okay. So anyway, but yeah, we're doing this live. We're just trying to do this as best we can. So just hang on. You may think we're completely dumb, and that's your opinion, and that's
You're
okay.
entitled to it. Absolutely.
That's right. So anyway, there's so many topics that we would like to talk about, but of course, the biggest one, we're right here in the height of the election year.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh! Yeah. That is like, ugh, man, that is a huge topic, and there's like so much we can cover. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna let Doc pick it because I'm like there's things that I could just take off, and I know there's things that are bothering him. So Doc, you start it off.
First of all, I'm really just sick and tired of both sides of the of this election process. Just we've all heard the term mudslinging, and that's all that campaigning is anymore. There's none of this stuff about really, neither side's really putting forth any kind of idea or any kind of way to actually move forward and get us out of this slump. I mean, obviously, the administration that's been in there, and I'm sorry if you disagree with me, but they've done jack to get us out of this situation. As a matter of fact, they've dug the hole deeper. They really have.
Oh, no. What, you didn't hear today that Obama found 4 million jobs that they forgot to count?
Oh, wow.
You
had them in his back pocket, I guess.
Oh, yeah. It's like, how do you forget to count 4 million jobs?
They found a way that they can actually count some things that shouldn't be counted. That's the same way, but they're also not counting unemployment to people who have stopped looking for jobs.
Right. It's like, but still, it's like you either got some really incompetent people on your staff or you're just outright lying.
Yeah. And just take your pick as to which one of those is worse.
I'm going to go with the latter.
Yeah, exactly. But here we are. We're now in all this multi-trillion-dollar deficit. Our unemployment continues right around the double-digit mark. It's up. It's a little bit ebb and flow, but basically we're the same place we are 4 years ago. And the whole "this is all Bush's fault" gets kind of old. I mean, here we are 4 years later, and can you honestly look around and say I'm better off than I was then?
Dude, the economy was way better, in a way better situation when Bush was in than
and it wasn't wonderful then either. We're not trying to paint him with a good rosy brush at all. No, we're in the middle of a recession. I mean, we are.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We're in the middle of a recession. We're not in recovery, folks. They keep saying this, but there's just no evidence to back this up.
There's zero recovery.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's just, this is the new status quo, is trying to make ends meet, trying to make, hopefully your job will remain stable and not go away. and just hope that things stay as they are. Instead, there's not any real improvement. There's not any real upward mobility anymore. Granted, now there are quite a few rich people in this country. Yeah, absolutely, and they're staying. But those guys, they're set. Okay, they don't have to worry. We keep that's really a completely whole different argument. We're talking about the people who are actually footing the bill for all this stuff, the people who work for a living, the people who are trying to balance their checkbook, who are getting taxed to pay for all these this progressive social agenda that is being put forth by our government. And the thing that's getting me, and I feel the beginnings of a rant here, that's getting me is this whole idea of security versus giving up your liberty. Okay, we're so willing anymore that to get some kind of security to give up our freedom. And I honestly, it may sound conspiracy theorist craziness, but I almost think that that's where they want us. It's the fact that we're willing to give up some of our freedom so they can give us some kind of security that we have to rely on them, and basically just make us a big herd of sheep, so that we're gonna toe the party line. We're gonna walk rank and file. We're gonna keep our heads down and do what we're told, as long as our tax dollars keep rolling in to keep these people in power, to keep these people wealthy, to keep the status quo where it is. And people are this day and time are so willing to give that up. Let me tell you something. Our founding fathers never felt that way when they drew up the Constitution. Listen, if the Revolutionary War had not gone the way it went, the way it did, they would have been executed for treason.
Yep.
There was nothing about security in this. They were fed up. They had enough of, at that time, England's tyranny, and they said, we can do this better. Everything that the Constitution is founded on, our three branches of government, the Bill of Rights, everything in the Constitution is the idea of individual freedom. And the idea is that an individual, when given the freedom, given the freedom to do so, will improve himself, make himself a better person, make the world around him better. But instead, now we have this idea that somehow somebody else is going to help us, or somebody else is responsible for fixing problems that we need to fix on our own. But then they're taking away the tools that we can use to fix, because even if you work the full amount of schedule, the full amount of hours you're given, whatever, you work hard, but you can't get ahead because of the way the economy is set up. You just can't do this anymore. You can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps the way you once were.
Well, you know that there's 47% of Americans that really don't care.
Exactly.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, that was my next thing is, okay, I know we got this tape recording of Romney saying these things. Did he really say anything that he's not said in the campaign anyway? I mean, what was so shocking about this? I mean, that's conservative thought.
And that's truth.
Yeah,
I mean, that is fact.
Yeah.
If you go out into this country and see, there's a little town that Doc and I are from, and
not to name any names, but
not saying anything, but it is womb to tomb out there.
Absolutely,
and it is absolutely insane. I seen people that were living on disability. A dude was disabled, drawing a check, and he was putting a seat into a truck. Now, how are you disabled?
Yeah.
Technically, you're back disabled, but this stuff goes on all the time, and they want to be handed everything. They are victims in their mind.
In their mind, they are entitled to it. This whole idea of entitlement, and I know personally, I've known people who, for 3 generations of a family, mother, child, and grandchild, none of them have ever held a job in their life. They live in government housing. They collect government checks. And they have never, and the idea, though, hey, you could come over and help me rake the yard and I'll pay you a little bit or whatever. No, that's repulsive to them. I don't work. The government pays me.
And they look at people that are succeeding, that do work all their life, and they think it's not fair because they don't have the things that person working for has.
And the other section of it looks at us like we're suckers, and I kind of tend to agree with them anymore. I mean, if they're getting, because most of them in truth live in as good as a place as I do, nearly. They have a vehicle that maybe not be top of the line or whatever, but it's dependable. Well, mine's not either.
And do they pay taxes?
They take. And effectively, no, because a portion of it's supposed to go back to it, but it's already figured in when it gets into their
Exactly.
hands. So
47% of Americans that Romney said that don't pay taxes, he is freaking right.
yeah, absolutely, he is. And that's no secret. That's actually been passed around even in the mainstream media for the past several months. Everybody knows that nearly 50% of this country does not pay taxes, is not pulling their weight. We know this.
I don't know why everybody thinks this is a surprise now. This is like, I don't understand it. You know, it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that.
Exactly. And the other thing he said that got so people up in arms is what he said. It's not my job to convince them, because he's absolutely right. These people's mind are made up. You're not going to convince them. They're satisfied with the way things are. So he's going to spend his time and his energy trying to convince those people who are still open-minded enough and say, I was expecting something different than what I got when I voted for this guy. Okay? This is the people that he's working to convince. And I got news for you. That's been the case of everybody who ever campaigned anywhere. It's just the solid truth. You always are going to have a set diehard base either way, okay? There's certain people Obama will never convince to vote for him. He knows this.
Me. Hello.
Yeah. Well, be that as it may, that's completely, but I'm just saying that there's people that he's not really interested in convincing to, because he knows he's not going to.
And what was his campaign slogan last year? Change. We can change. Oh, he's changed a lot. I'll go ahead and tell, I will give him that. He's changed a freaking lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many things, gosh, that we could just go into. And what's amazing to me is that the media continues to treat this guy as their darling. Now, you want to roll back.
Darling, more like Messiah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll go there. You want to roll back the calendar 4 years and look at the way the last campaign run. I've never seen anybody in my entire life, my lifetime anyway, and I'm a little over 40. I don't want to go exactly where I am, but doesn't matter. But anyway, my lifetime, just so strictly demonized as George W. Bush. Was he a great, great president? No. But he was good enough that the people, felt enough to elect him twice. Okay, so... And yes, he did. There was we went into this recession under his watch, and yes, he made some bad moves. I'm not going to defend that. I'm not going to say that he was he was the second coming of Reagan or whatever. But he did pull us through some pretty rough times. And yes, you may not be happy with the way he handled every part of it, but he did get us through.
Yeah.
And it wasn't pretty, but neither were the situations with 9/11 or Katrina or many of the other situations that occurred during his presidency.
And I can tell you that during his presidency for 8 years, we weren't as deep in debt as we are from this president we have right now with just 4.
Absolutely, just 4 years, because with this idea of the way to solve any problem is just throw more money at it, and they to this day can't account for where all the money went or what it was supposed to do, how it was supposed to be a quote unquote stimulus.
Well, I can tell you where it went. How many czars does he have?
Oh yeah, well, not as many as he did now, because they got their money and went home.
Well.
But yeah, that's the other thing too, is that you look at both sides of the aisle again, but more specifically on the ones who are in power right now. These people, when they get elected into public office, they're almost all quite wealthy. Okay, let's be honest with each other. In this country, the idea that anybody anywhere could run for president is hilarious. Okay, you have to have literally millions of dollars at your disposal to do this. We have an aristocracy class in this country. I'm sorry, we do.
I mean, if anybody could run for president, I mean, it's like I'll be out there campaigning tomorrow, but I ain't got that kind of money.
Exactly.
You got to have. I think you got to have like so much background in school and this, that, and the other. And there's certain criteria you have to meet to run for president. But mainly, if you ain't got enough money to campaign. You ain't
can't
gonna
do
make
it. Yeah, unless you have the connections, unless you have and the financial wherewithal to just roll this juggernaut of a campaign. It's completely it's outside the realm of the normal man. Now, but that was the idea, that it could be done by anybody.
It's like I was really hoping Rick Santorum would make it, but the guy just did not have the financial background or backing to continue any further. He had to concede to Mitt Romney. Right. Now, speaking of Mitt Romney, and I'm not going to sit here and I can harp on Obama all day long, but I know that everybody listening to this show will say, "Well, you're Christians. What do you think about Romney?" And I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to bash any religion. I don't agree with Mormonism. I'll go ahead and tell you that. But
we
at the
are
same
in America.
time,
this is
we
not,
are exactly.
He has the freedom, and we can agree to disagree and get along fine.
Yeah, and here's the other thing: he doesn't want to see America destroyed.
Absolutely,
and he wants to have an America that we believe in, the America that was founded by our forefathers, the America where capitalism works and you're free to have a job that you yourself built, and a business, I should say, not a job, but a business that you yourself built.
Sorry to shed the news to you there, Obama, but yes, we did build this.
I heard something interesting on the radio the other day. It was like, how did Oprah feel when Obama said
you didn't build this? I wonder. Well,
she came from a poor background.
It's amazing. Oh, absolutely. And she's a good, and once again, this is somebody who I don't particularly care for. She and I don't see eye to eye on a great many issues. But I'll tell you what, you want to see an example of someone who really has been a self-made billionaire. Who really has come from obscurity and built and made an empire and made something of herself. You can absolutely hold her up.
And I guarantee she built that empire.
I'm sure she worked hard for it and built it with the sweat of her brow and her own intelligence and all, and her own abilities and talent. And I will salute her from now on. Like I said, I may not agree with what she says, but hey, it's the beauty of the First Amendment, and I'll defend her right to say it, whether I agree with it or not.
That's right.
And my hat's off to her. She's accomplished a lot more in her life than I have thus far. But anyway, but that's the beauty of it. And I wonder if that hit her home about that. But see, the thing that gets me is these people who are so these almost blinded Obamites, I'll call them, who just have this following. Did you hear? Here's another thing. I meant to bring this to your attention, LoBo, and I haven't actually brought this up to you. Do you hear this thing that that Madonna said the other day?
Oh, I did. I heard that.
How we finally got a Muslim president in the White House.
And then she turned around and said, I'm just being sarcastic.
Well, she said, yeah, if he wins again, I want to strip off all my clothes. Okay. Wow. Did you really actually get the whole contradiction there? Okay, I'm going to celebrate this man's religion, which we're not saying Obama's a Muslim. I don't, that's been thrown around all over the place. He's never done anything. And he seems to be sympathetic toward them, but that's his own business. And that's fine. Once again, freedom of religion. But she said, okay, we have a Muslim president, and I'm going to celebrate this if he gets reelected by taking off all my clothes in public. So in other words, I'm going to celebrate this man's supposed religion, in her opinion, whatever, by doing something that is abhorrent in the eyes of his religion.
Well, first off is like, just from that statement, I think everybody will vote for Romney just because of that. Yeah, it's like, she's going to take her clothes off. Oh my gosh, I am not voting for Obama.
All of a sudden, I think we had several converts to the Republican wing right then.
Yeah, immediately. I didn't hear that part. I just heard it.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Nice.
Yeah, or not.
Yeah.
But maybe
not nice.
Back in '86, maybe, but not now. No. But she said that she would celebrate by stripping naked on stage, which no devout Muslim in the world is going to get behind. That's like saying, okay, we have a devout teetotaler Baptist in the White House. Let's celebrate by getting drunk. It's the same equivalent because in the in the extreme versions in the extreme countries where they celebrate an extremely rigid form of Islam, and we all know that they require the women to wear burqas and keep everything covered. So I guess it's just a picture. A show is a good illustration of how little understanding she has about the situation to say that that's a way to celebrate is by exposing herself.
In the words of Alanis Morissette, isn't that ironic?
Do you think?
Did I just show my age?
Yeah, I think you did.
Anyway, well, we've had a great time talking to you guys. So tune in to the next show. There will be more to come because there's plenty to talk about.
Oh, my goodness. So we'll try to stay as topical as we can. Every now and again, we may reach into the past to bring up something and say, hey, you remember when this happened? What about that? But we're going to try to stay on top of what's going on during the time that we that we are actually doing the recording. So hopefully it'll be current.
Yep.
And we're going to try to keep it, as like I said, as factual as possible. We're going to try to fact check ourselves, quote check ourselves, and that kind of thing. And the key thing is we want to be thought provoking and entertaining.
Yep.
And that's what we hope that you come
That's
back
it.